In 1998, Robert Kiyosaki released his model of the cash flow quadrant, which basically showed how a normal human being, even born in middle class background, could transition all the way from just being a mere employee to a small business owner to a large business owner all the way to an investor. And one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki explained in his cash flow quadrant very nicely was how can an employee start becoming a part of the investment industry or the investment brotherhood, even from a very small age, just by managing their cash flow properly. All right. In 1998, a lot of people's lives changed all around the world. In fact, I was one such person who got a hold of Robert Kiyosaki books in the year 2000, 2001, and my whole life changed. At that point, I was studying to become a medical doctor in India's number 2 ranked medical college, and studying Robert Kiyosaki and his concepts gave me the 100% belief that I am meant to be rich, I am meant to be in the world of business, I'm meant to be the ultimate level, which is the investor. All right. And later I was able to quit my medical job and then find different mentors on my route to becoming a hustler or a small business owner, all the way to becoming a company owner where I can run my virtual company now, generating 3 crore rupees a year with all of my employees working virtually. So the internet revolution and Robert Kiyosaki have really helped me in getting more freedom and control over life, and also be able to get the time to share all of these secrets with you so that you can also follow the same. In this particular video, I will be talking about our own version of the growth path that we have developed for a normal employee to go and become a hustler or become a business owner or investor, and with little bit of variations that are there from the actual Robert Kiyosaki cash flow quadrant, and I'd like to share that with you in this particular video. Now, some of the things that kind of took me a lot of time to transition from Robert Kiyosaki's version of the cash flow quadrant was it took me a very long time to go from a small business owner to what he says a large business owner. So he categorizes small business owner as the S segment and a large business owner as a B segment. And while I was able to go very fast from employee to self-employed, it took me a long time to go from self-employed to a proper business owner, which today I'm operating on a solopreneurship on a GST license, and it is very flexible, gives me 100% control, and I have all of the benefits that the government and all of these other things that are there in the market, that I can get the benefits, I can get the funding, I can get government assistance, I have GST. So it really gives a lot of flexibility and leverage in the market. Okay. Now, some of the things that didn't really work for me in the Robert Kiyosaki cash flow quadrant was that Robert Kiyosaki actually comes personally from the real estate investment segment, and that segment works very differently in the US than it works in India. Okay, some of the quick bullet points I can give you is that rental returns on residential property in the US is way higher than that in India. In the US, it's about 10% per year. In India, it is hardly 2% per year. Plus, there is a lot of mafiaization of the real estate industry, which makes it very difficult for a small business player to make monumental gains. You're seeing that a lot of people who have invested in property, their money has been stuck, and builders have not been able to give the apartments on time. And what Robert Kiyosaki used to talk about was specifically about getting rental properties, apartment buildings, apartment complexes, and making a return on those. I did actually implement a lot of his strategies and build a small little real estate portfolio of my own, but I realized that it works very differently in India than it works in the US. The second thing was that the small business owner segment that Robert Kiyosaki talks about, and he says that this is the segment to be gotten rid of as quickly as you can. He says this is the worst segment to be in because you actually own a job and you don't really have a lot of benefits when it comes to leverage, or when it comes marketplace leverage, or when it comes to kind of government policies and benefits. Okay, and he hardly touches upon this particular segment, which is why transitioning through this segment all the way to a large business owner took me the longest possible time, and now I've been able to crack the code on how to manage your hustlership. I call it hustlership because my concepts have developed very differently. The third reason is that a large business ownership is relatively more complicated in the US. It used to be way simpler in India than in India earlier. US used to be way more simpler. But today, if you look at the internet revolution and the things that have happened in India in the last 10 years, probably 15 years, going from a small business owner to a large business owner is very smooth and the transition is almost bump free as long as you have the right mindset and you have the right process plan. Okay, so in my own way, the transition to a large business owner, which I just call owner in my own version of Kiyosaki's quadrant, I call it an owner. I have slightly different concepts. Even into investorship today in India, we have very, very easy to do things that can take you into even real estate portfolio aside, even stock portfolio or other direct partnerships are very, very simple through online platforms today, and affiliation and partnership opportunities that these online platforms are today providing. So life has become way simpler, and it gives a lot more flexibility, and the risk to transition from segment to segment is highly reduced. In fact, in our academy at Startup Frat, transitioning from a small business owner to a large business owner hardly takes about 1 month of adjustment, and then you can really scale very fast after that level. Okay, so I'll be talking quite briefly about the different segments that we've created as Startup Frat, and I would really like it if you would like this particular video and actually follow my channel, because that will give it so much more visibility. I'm really hoping to share my own journey, and if it gives you benefit, and if there is any part of your journey that can be smoothened out, I will be very, very happy if you leave a comment or something like that, because that will really tell me that my own journey has been valuable in some way to you. Okay, I spent almost 10 plus years, I would say 14 years, 13 years in transitioning from small business owner to large business owner, or in my words, I call it from hustler to owner. And I would like that journey to be smoothened out for you. Today, you can do it in less than 10 months. So it'll save you probably 9.5 years, 12 and a half years or something. Okay, so let's get started. And I'm just going to open up my mind map over here. In our quadrant, in my quadrant, which I have built at Startup Frat Academy, which I teach to my students, you have 4 segments. It is worker, hustler, owner, and investor. Okay, the worker is exactly the same as Robert Kiyosaki's employee segment, and essentially what they are doing is, if you're an employee, you are selling your labor, so your income source is hours. Okay, monetization model is called time at work, which is hours at work. So you're selling your labor, whether it is blue collar labor or white collar labor, whether you're selling your hard work or you're selling your brain capacity or something, if you're doing accounting or something at your job. Okay. Next, KPIs, loyalty based. That means if you're with a company, your loyalty is paramount to them. And I'm very, very happy to say that wherever I have been able to work as an employee, actually my first business as a hustler did not work, and I had to go back and find a job. And at that point, I had to eat my pride and ego and all, and literally put my head down and go find a job. And the person who gave me a job, they themselves were not doing that greatly. They were startup founders. And when I found a job over there, I got salary, I got pride, I got respect, I got a lot of learning that I got over there in that environment, and my bosses were amazingly nice to me, and they took care of me more than they took care of themselves. So for the first time, I felt a lot of safety cushion around me when it comes to the work sphere. And I would like to say that if whichever company you're working with, wherever you're drawing your paycheck, if you can just be very loyal, I know a lot of things will not be perfect. You may not like your immediate reporting boss, conditions may not be ideal, but if you can give loyalty, that is really going to build you as an individual. It's going to be very useful to you later in life. Even if you are a business owner tomorrow, the fact that you were able to stick at one place and give them your 100% loyalty is really going to make a lot of difference in your life. And I've seen that it has really given me and paid me back thousands of times over. Okay, so your income source is labor or time at work. Your KPI is loyalty, which means what you need to develop in your own self is loyalty, which I think a lot of youngsters are getting too much into this what do you call shiny object syndrome, and they don't really think, they don't really give too much loyalty, or they don't really believe that maintaining relations over the long term and doing the best you are in any position is going to help you. A lot of youngsters are getting waylaid by too much messaging on social media and all. Loyalty is still the king of all virtues, I say. Next, you have your business model is bound to serve. Bound to serve means what? That when you are in that particular location, you are supposed to serve that particular company or wherever you are there. Okay. Unfortunately or fortunately, I had this belligerence where I thought, okay, I can do anything I want because I'm already giving benefit to the company. In fact, before joining my full-time jobs, I was working in a hospital because I came from a medical background, and I was motivating patients to not go in for hospital treatments and things like that, take care of their own wellness, etc., which I thought was the best advice for them. However, I got a warning from the hospital saying we have certain treatments, we have regimens, we are supposed to do something as per our whatever the procedures are, and this is what you're supposed to follow. And I said, I don't believe that. Okay, and over there I was bound to serve, which means if I'm getting a salary, I'm supposed to follow whatever the protocols are defined by that particular industry. In my spare time, I'd got into the wellness industry, so I didn't believe. I thought, hey man, I'm going to introduce wellness into the hospital setup. And then definitely I had to leave the job. And I can tell you today, I have no judgment on that. And I feel that they were right in what they were saying, because they have a goal. Sick people come over there to get healed, and the fastest way to heal is whatever the procedures they are following in the medical industry. And I thought everybody should get into wellness, because over a long period of time it's going to be a superior industry. But that, I feel, was the wrong place to be telling patients not to trust the hospital. And I violated that rule, which is supposed to be bound to serve. So if you are in any kind of a situation where you're working a business where you have other products like probably insurance or network marketing or something like that, my advice to you will be very simply that if you're bound to serve at a certain place, just keep it clean, and they are paying you money for your time or for your whatever, for your labor, and just give loyalty. And if you are bound to serve, you're bound to serve, which means at that particular place you should just give the best that you can. All right. Next core value of an employee is security. So that means if you feel insecure at your company, or if at your company they are constantly telling you that your job is in danger, or somebody is harassing you, or they're threatening to fire you or something like that, then you can leave the company, because your core value should be security, and that is getting impacted at that job. All right. A lot of people go into jobs today, younger generation, they have all kinds of different wants and needs and aspirations, and that is not the job of your company to fulfill. Okay. If you want a promotion every 6 months, that is not the role of a job or a company. I know during the lockdown and all, a lot of techie type people had got a lot of pay raises and stuff like that, because the world needed you at that time. And a lot of youngsters have come under the impression that, okay, the company owes me a big fat promotion every week, every month, or every year, or whatever it is, but they don't. The core value is you have to give them loyalty, they have to give you security. That is the transaction. That means your salary has to come, and you have to be loyal to them while you're working over there. Otherwise, you can choose to leave for whatever reason. Okay, so that is pretty much the transaction at the worker level. I just want the transaction things to be clear. I want the terms of the transaction to be clear to you. Why is that? Is because I had a great time finding a job when I was stuck, and the job gave me paycheck, the job gave me some self-respect, because when you're failing in business, your self-respect starts taking a hit. I was valued at my job, I was respected at my job, and I got to learn so many things from both my jobs and both of my founders, because they truly built me up. Later, I could transition to the large business segment solely based on the journey and the learnings I got from my job. Okay, so do not underestimate the job. And I think Robert Kiyosaki goes ahead and he browbeats the job, and he has a lot of negativity about working at a job. I understand maybe that was his experience. In my experience, jobs came to me to pull me out of the gutter where I was unable to perform on my small business side. Okay, so with that, let's go to the next side, which is what? A hustler. I call it a hustler. I don't even call it a business. In Robert Kiyosaki, he calls it a small business owner. I don't call it a business at all. It is hustling, and the reason it is hustling is I'm just going to make that clear. And you have to be very good at this level. If you are good at this level, you will be successful at the owner level. If you're not good at the hustler level, you will not be successful at the owner level. So what exactly is a hustler? Okay, income source comes from sales. I just want this to be very, very clear, that the income source of a hustler is selling of whatever you're offering. Okay, you could be into coaching, you could be having workshops, you could be having a bakery, you could be doing some clothes design like a boutique or whatever it is, whatever you think you are doing. You could be a chartered accountant, private practitioner, you could be a lawyer, you could even be a practitioner, a doctor. But the name of the game is that you have to get sales. That means people have to be walking in and you have to be selling them. In certain case, sales are implied, which means in a doctor's clinic, when people come, it is already implied that they will be paying for the consultation. But in the case of a lawyer, first you have to do a free consultation, you have to kind of meet them, then you got to set the terms, then you got to set the expectation, then you got to set the rate, then they got to pay you, start paying you, whatever it is. Okay, so there's a whole process that is involved before you get paid. All right. And sales, managing the process of getting those walking ins through the door or getting those leads or inquiries and closing them, which is getting the money to change hands, is the main thing at this level. I see a lot of people screw this up, especially if you're in the industry of coaching. Okay, coaching, consulting, all of these guys totally screwing this up, because a lot of people think, or especially if you're in the healthcare coaching thing, hey man, I'm going to help a person improve their life by improving their health or whatever, and that is enough. No, that is not enough. You not only have to be good at delivering what you do, which is improving other people's health, you also have to be deadly when it comes to getting leads and actually making those sales and making sure that the money changes hands. Okay, I attended a very expensive coaching program with an international coach, and he said, how many of you are unhappy with where your business is going? And almost everybody raised their hand. Yes, I am unhappy in the sense that I think I could be better. I have bigger goals. I am not reaching there, whatever, there is a gap. And he says, you need to track your time, and 60% of your time needs to be going into sales and marketing. Very simple. If 60% of your time is not going to sales and marketing, it is no wonder that you're not happy with your financial results, or you have some goals where you have not yet reached. Okay, and I went back and started tracking my time, and I realized, oh, only 15% of my time was going into sales and marketing. Okay, so if you're a hustler, you are always hustling, which means 60% or more of your time is actually sales and marketing. Very important. Okay, if you are a person who's in the coaching industry, service industry, lawyer, and if most of your time is going in the serving, then as a hustler you will not succeed, because the income source is not the service, the income source is the sales. Okay, what is the KPI over here? Skill based, which means your skill has to improve. That means you constantly have to invest. Not only do you have to invest time in getting the money, which is the sales, now you have to invest this money in addition to serving your clients. You have to invest it in yourself. You have to improve your skills. Okay, I see a lot of people, if you're, let's say, into financial products industry, if you're into let's say health industry or something like that, especially if it's in network marketing, selling health products or something. Okay, you got some business opportunity, or you got some income opportunity, passive income or whatever it is, or you are into this health supplement or something, and your knowledge about the health of the person is zero. Like, the only knowledge you have is that useless knowledge that the company is giving you. That means you haven't thought more about what the prospect already knows more than you, and the prospect actually does know more than you, because they've done more research on their problem than you have done the research. So that means constantly what you're doing is your reinvestment of cash goes into improving your skill. This is the main thing at the hustler level. In fact, if you're investing to buy skills, like when I was at the hustler level, there were a lot of things I didn't understand that I wanted to do. I wanted to go online, and I didn't know how to go online. I just wanted leads from online. I wanted sales from all over the country, all over the world. For that, I had to go online, and I didn't have the skills. So I invested in coaching programs to teach me the skills, and I didn't get the skills. I couldn't learn from that program. So then I invested money to hire a skilled person to do my implementation, set up my online thing, and I paid them extra so that they could teach me while they were doing it. Yeah. So you're always investing time and money in upskilling. If you're hiring a person, it is not so that you can relax and they can work. You're hiring a person always who is more skilled than you, so that their skill can be useful to you, or you can learn the skill while they're doing the job. Definitely pay well for it. I'm not saying don't pay. Pay well, but your goal is to improve skill. If at a hustler level, you yourself are not improving quarter upon quarter in your skill level, then this segment is going to kill you. You're going to die a very bad death over here. All right. Sales is where the money comes from. Skill is where the money is invested, because skill is the thing that people are hiring. If you're a lawyer, people are hiring the best lawyer. If you're a doctor, the best doctor. If you are a health coach, the best health coach. So you constantly got to upskill yourself. Okay. Business model is sell to serve. That means I have to find the client and then I have to serve them. Sell to serve. Okay. What is a worker's business model? Time at work, bound to serve and time at work. Okay. They are bound to serve, which means the company already has the clients and they have to serve the clients, or they have to serve the company in a way that the company can serve the clients. Okay. Over here, you have to do the selling, finding the clients, and you have to do the serving yourself. Your monetization model is time at work, which means you own a job. That is what Robert Kiyosaki says. You own your own job. And that's why he says it's not a great thing, because you have to do the marketing and you have to do the serving. You're getting squeezed from all directions. I disagree with Robert Kiyosaki over here, because I feel the reason, if you are in this level, who are the people who are at this level? Let me just open up the profiles. If you are a doctor, lawyer, chartered accountant, architect, which is a qualified professional, you are in the hustler segment. If you're a commission selling salesperson, network marketer, insurance agent, real estate agent, then you are in a hustler segment. If you're a small business owner with your own agency, restaurant, shopkeeper, travel agent, salon owner, you are a hustler. You are a hustler. Okay. So you have to sell to serve. Your monetization model is time at work. So it's pretty bad. You're probably working 14 hours plus 10 to 14 hours a day or more, and you're constantly trying to upskill yourself, and every day you have to find sales. 60% of your time should be going in sales. If you do this segment well, it is going to set you up for life. Okay, Robert Kiyosaki said this segment is the worst to be in. I say, if you figure out these are the things to be done, if you do them properly, it will set you up for life. It is a rare opportunity, my friend, today. Okay, and today as an internet hustler, you can just go online, find leads and sales for any business that you want, whether it's a coaching business, service business, whatever it is, your own skill that you're selling, whatever it is that you're doing. Finding leads and sales, very easy today online. Setting up a small business, very easy today online. I'm going to show you what are the different frameworks. And, if you do this well, you are going to enjoy, man. Okay. Now let's go to the core value. What is the core value? The core value of an employee was security, or worker was security. The core value for a hustler is independence. Core value for a hustler is independence, but it comes with conditions. What are those conditions? I meet a lot of people who say I'm into business for myself, and I ask them how many hours in a week do you work? And they say I work 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day. And that means they work like 10, 12, 15 hours a week. You're not going to survive. Okay? The name of the game is time at work, and the value is independence. The value cannot overtake the monetization model. The amount of time you put into work, first of all, has to double. A business owner works harder than an employee. The core value is independence. It is not financial freedom or time freedom. What is independence? I have the freedom to work on whatever I want today. I have the freedom to work on whatever I want, not what my boss wants. There is no boss telling me I have to sit in a stupid meeting that I don't want, where I'm getting bored to death. I can work on myself, or I can work for my clients, or I can work on my sales. These are the three things I have to do. Work on myself, which is upskill, work for my clients, which is serve, and work on my sales, which is sell to serve. There are three things I have to do, out of which two the employee doesn't have to do. Employee just has to serve. Okay, so that means my time at work should be more, not less. A lot of people say I gave up my job and I work 3 hours a day. You are not a hustler, and you will not survive this journey. Guaranteed. Okay, I would say if you're working part-time, definitely give it 20 hours a week. If you're working full-time, give it 50, 55 hours a week minimum. I'm not even saying 70 hours a week. You don't need to do that, but minimum 50, 55 hours a week. You have to work harder as a hustler than you are as an employee. Okay, and the most reason why the graveyards of freedom, financial freedom, hopefuls are filled with hustlers. That means the people who fail the most, or the businesses that fail the most, are the hustler businesses. That is why they say 95% or 99% of businesses fail. It's all the hustlers that fail because they get the equation wrong. in their mind. Okay, so I hope I've made that clear. Please leave me a comment on what you are learning over here. Leave me a nice comment right now, what you're learning. If you have an argumentative comment, hey man, I don't agree with this with you, Rajat, please let me know in the comments box. Okay, I want to have that interaction. Okay, amazing. Income sources, sales, KPI, skill based, sell to serve, time at work, core value, independence. Who are these people? These are the people. Okay, so these are the profiles. These are the profiles that form the hustler framework. Now let's go to owner. What is an owner? An owner is somebody who hires people. The criteria is that you have people working for you. That means you are buying additional time from the marketplace. As a hustler, you increase the amount of personal time, but you increase the quality of your time by upskilling. You're constantly upskilling yourself. As an owner, you're increasing the quantity of time by buying other people's time to deliver your business or your product. Okay, so you're constantly buying other people's time. Income source is hiring employees, literally. If you're a business owner like a network marketer, insurance agent, or something like that, you are not a business owner, you're a hustler. Please understand this, and it's going to keep you safe and financially abundant in life. Okay, I don't want to let anybody down, but I constantly have students coming to me thinking they are business people, but they are not business people. They are hustlers. If you do that hustlership right, you're going to be a good owner. Okay, I was stuck in hustlership because I didn't know the equation properly, and I didn't know that unless people work for me, I will never be able to scale very much. And everybody else who tells you differently, you're not building your business, you're building their business. So if a company tells you, hey, no, don't come and build my team, and you become a part owner, you don't become a part owner. Just look at your business license. I'm going to talk about licensing right now. Okay, you're not building your business, you're building their business. Yes, you're making money, there is no problem. Okay, income source is to hire employees. That means as an owner, by default, if you have employees, you have a business. If you don't have employees, you're a solopreneur or hustler. Second thing, KPI is to build systems. When you hire employees and you're sitting on their head every day, there is no point of having an employee. So you build systems. That means the employee should know what they have to do. They should have all the resources of what they have to do, and it should ideally be done without your too much of your personal involvement. So how do employees work? Nobody ever works by themselves. They have to be told, they have to be taught, and there has to be a system where work is given to them and work is collected from them and checked and delivered to the client. So all of this is something called a system. A system is nothing but a set of processes that work according to certain preset rules that you have documented. So you've written down what needs to be done, you've trained the people what needs to be done, and every single time you look at it, it is being done exactly as you defined. Okay, it takes many months to put these things in place. I'm not saying you should have it today. It takes many months to put these things in place. In fact, for me to have 2 or 3 solid divisions working on firing on all cylinders at all times, it took me almost 1.5 years. Okay, so 6 months per division. I've really gone slow and steady on this. And today, a lot of my systems, like my sales system or my accounting system, employees run these systems and they work without my active involvement. Okay, at the maximum, my ad people will ask me to shoot a few ads every now and then, but once I've given them the videos or whatever, they pretty much work on their own. Okay, so my involvement over here is 5%, employees do 95%. Next, what is the business model is to build to serve or hire to serve, which means either the employees are serving your business or they're serving your clients directly. You are hiring and building. You're hiring employees and building systems. Hire, build constantly. This is your main business. This is your business. If in a business you're doing anything yourself too much, then the only reason you should be doing something yourself is so that you test it out, figure out how it is to be done. Then you can build a system for it later. The only reason I do anything for a long amount of time is because I don't want to do it 3 months later. So I want to do it as much as I possibly can, so I understand everything, so I can build a system around it. Just to give you perspective, when we moved into Zoho Books, when we moved our entire company's accounting into Zoho Books, I was the person for the first 3 months who would actually make all the entries in Zoho Books sitting in the night myself, and I did it for 3 or 4 months myself. Why did I do it myself? Because I wanted to understand every little thing about accounting. Once I learned every little thing about accounting, My CAs are already doing the work. I also hired an internal accountant, and now between my accountant and my CA, everything gets done, but I know what is going where. In my mind, I'm very, very clear. I see every single rupee moving inside my system, and I look at my system only probably 1 hour a week. That's it. All right. Why did I do all of it myself when I already had a full-time employee, everything? The reason is I want to know how it works inside out. Okay. And that is the only reason I do things. Otherwise, nothing in your business you're going to do yourself. Okay. Monetization model is very simple. It is people at work, people who work for you. Simple. Okay. You are buying their time to put into your business. Simple. Okay. Core value is leadership and building systems. Your core value over here is not independence. Remember, your independence is going to go down while you're building the systems, because you'll be building the systems and hiring the employees and training the employees and making sure cash flow goes well and making sure that that I'm spending time in sales, marketing, clients are getting happy. This is not a time for independence. Core value of a hustler is independence, solopreneur. When you start building a business, core value changes from independence to systems. Okay. Leadership means people will work for you not only because you're paying them, but because they see something in you where they want to be like you. In my very first job, when I saw my bosses, the CEO and the CFO of the company, taking the responsibility of paying payroll to so many people, even though the company was not super highly profitable or something, just taking that responsibility at a very ground level of making sure that they pay other people and they build their lives and build them into something, that really inspired me. Okay, so their leadership inspired me, which is why I gave them loyalty. Of course, I had a paycheck also. Okay, the reason that people will work for you in the beginning is because they will see you as a leader. Later, when you become a very big businessman or something like that, you may be at a very senior level, then they don't need to do that. Everybody doesn't need to see you as a leader at that point, because the systems become very strong. The brand becomes very strong. But in the initial basis, your core value is leadership and building systems. That's it. Now, what is the profile? Profile is LLC people. If you have a limited liability company, if you have a public limited company, or if you have a limited company. Okay, LLC is a limited liability company. If you have a private limited company, and if you have a limited company, which is a limited, actually means public limited. Public limited means it has shares in the marketplace. Okay, so limited liability LLC, private limited company is PLC, and public limited company, which is actually called a limited company. These are the frameworks for building owner business models. Now, funnily, there is a lot of flexibility over here, where as a professional, you can have a business license of MSME or GST, commission salesperson, small business owner. You can have a business license of MSME or GST, and a GST license will work very well over here as the owner also. This is the flexibility I was talking about, that in India, we have got a lot of ease of doing business. If you're starting out with an MSME license, you can just apply it online and it will work. It will be approved throughout wherever you want a payment processor, you want to set up a business account with any social media engine, whatever your simple MSME license will do, which you can go ahead and get online within 1 hour entirely for free. Later, when you crack 20 lakhs in annual revenue, you can go for GST. And once you're a GST paying business in this country, man, you get all the flexibilities and all of the benefits that a proper private limited company gets. So that is the part which was not included in Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant, which is the reason that he was kind of not very happy about the small business owner part of it. And this is where the differences are. Okay, so going from a hustler to an owner today should be the matter of maximum 1 year. That means the moment you cross 20 lakhs in your business, I feel in the first year itself, you can cross 20 lakhs in the business. By year number 2, you can be GST accredited. And then you can really start expanding by having other people invest time in your business by hiring them. All right. So that is the owner segment. Now, what is the investor segment? Investor segment, very simply, is they invest in other businesses, and their KPI is to manage risk and build knowledge, which is market knowledge. So market knowledge is built by networking with other people. Investors are networkers, and their business is to manage capital and manage risk, because the only thing they have is actually money going to work for them. Business model is invest to grow. Okay, monetization model is money at work. All right. And what are the core values? The core value is wealth. So they are not really looking to make money to pay their bills. Their core value is not to buy an aircraft or a yacht and show off their Rolex watch or something like that. That is not the core value. Their core value is, can my money keep building money forever at a speed where rising inflation cannot affect it? That's it. They want to make money and watch it making other money, and it is a very indoor job. That is why the biggest investor in the world, like Warren Buffett or something, you will never see them showing off flashy cars or something like that, because the only thing they need is a study room and a lots of information. They read a lot of magazines, journals, they network a lot, they meet a lot of people, and that is their whole job. They don't need to go out on a yacht or a private plane or show off or anything like that, because they don't need to show off that leadership. They don't need to show proof. It's their money. They're investing it. They just want to make sure that the money makes money, and they keep watching it all the time. It's a full-time job. Yes. Okay. That's it. Now, what are the different profiles? Now, Robert Kiyosaki talks about a private investor in real estate. That's the only profile he really talks about. He has a book on portfolio investing as well, but he's not an expert on portfolio investing, just like Warren Buffett is. But today, in addition to being a private investor who invests in real estate or stocks or something like that, you can also have private equity access. You can build a family office. You can build a trust, and all of these are different instruments that are built for the sake of investors. Even today, you can see very young 30-40-year-olds are also transitioning into investorship full time, and it is working for them. As I get more information on this segment and I try out more things for myself, I'll be teaching you also. But for now, my goal for you is that if you're an employee, my prayer for you is, and my wish for you is, that you can become a hustler who can spend good time in a business that you want to do, build your skills, and transition over to ownership as fast as possible. And today it is all possible in the space of a few months. Okay. So with that, I'm done with this video. Please let me know what you liked, what were some of the aha moments, and what are some other things you would like to know about this segment in future videos, because I'm building out these videos now as we transition from hustler coaching, sales coaching over to owner coaching for you. All right. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.